Good morning. Just going to go right to the title this morning. Ninth Wave, Unity Consciousness. Can we get there? To me, the ninth wave is about unity, universal consciousness. And depending on where I put my focus, I can see it. What happens, though, when I am directly confronted by those I love that would like to shut me up? To tell the truth, sometimes it hurts to be out front of where others seem to be. The challenges of living in community can be daunting. I've waited a good while since awakening this morning before I even selected a title and wrote a blurb. Because events of yesterday continue to have a foremost place in my thought process, in my mind. And as I've centered myself, or at least attempted to center myself this morning, I still feel an uneasiness. And that's the truth. And I promised myself and the world that may tune in that I would always speak from where I am. As I reflected back on my life, I realized that there's been numerous times, actually, where I held ideas that were not mainstream thinking. I've been outside the box more times than I can shake a stick at it. And I could see things and felt I knew things that others around me couldn't seem to understand. I could go way back to my teenage years when I was in Bethany Church in Paterson, New Jersey. I've told this story at least one other time since I've been making these videos. But when the church would do its neighborhood visitation, we were instructed to only invite white people, though the neighborhood that the church was in was at least 50% black. And I thought that was just absolutely terrible. It seemed to contradict everything I believed Christianity was supposed to be about. We sang the song, Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world, red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. But here I was in a spiritual community that preferred white people over black. Thank you very much. We don't want our kids mixing with black kids. And yes, I challenged it, even as a teenager. I've had the balls enough to challenge several spiritual communities over the course of my life. And I reflected on several of those this morning in meditation and contemplation. Even the metaphysical group that I was in for a long time, I was one of its leaders. I did the newsletter. I was the one that would get there and set up. I was the big servant of the group. because I've always seen my job as being the servant, as being the one who does everything that I can to make it better and easier for other people. If there was a task to be done that I could do, I would volunteer. This has been my life. How you do anything is how you do everything. And I've been doing it that way for a long time. And sometimes other people would seem to want to control me. And I've always had a problem with that. I've never wanted to be told what I could say and couldn't say and do and couldn't do. When I was in the metaphysical group, I had to put a disclaimer in that no single individual speaks for the group, because some of the people didn't like some of the little sentences or quotations or something that I would put in the newsletter, because they didn't want the newsletter to be controversial. They didn't want it to be my forum. And I've done newsletters as volunteers for a long time, and I still do. And I still feel like people want to control what I say. Those of you that were watching the videos of the past 2 days, especially yesterday's video, realize why I'm talking about this morning. If you followed the comment thread on Facebook, especially, I posted yesterday's video on the New Way website, on the Facebook page rather, not on the website, on the Facebook page. And it was removed by someone else in the group. And even though I am one of the moderators of that page, for a time last night when I came home, I was unable to post anything. Not only was my previous posts, not only were my previous posts removed, but I was unable to post anything new, including comments to what other people had said. My friend Margie, who did the workshop, made the statement that all people have a right to their truth, and God smiles at us all. I've loved the New Way since I've been involved. I've talked about it here to all of you, and people have actually come from out of the area to visit the New Way. There's even another New Way that has already been birthed. This past Sunday, a New Way, a New Life pod, I think that's what it's called, was birthed in New Mexico. There was a lady in Connecticut that wrote me sometime back that wished she had a New Way or a pod in her community up in Connecticut. There's never been any follow-up on that one. Others have expressed the desire to be in a community like the one that I'm in. And yet, because I hold radical ideas, it makes some people very uncomfortable. And the way they handle their discomfort is to try to control me. And that hurts. It really does. That hurts. I'm a peacemaker, and yet sometimes looking at my own life, it doesn't seem that way. To me, I'm trying to get people to expand their minds and to see things from different angles and to allow for open discussion, to create dialogue on issues that are important in the overall general community, the spiritual community that I live in. I'm not talking just about the New Way now, because I'm part of much more than just the New Way here locally. I'm part of several other communities that meet on a regular basis. And I'm at various levels of attendance in some of those groups. And I know, because Margie has pointed out to me, how others see me. The conspiracy theory thing is really big for a lot of people, because the mainstream media has done a really good job of brainwashing people about conspiracy theories. At least conspiracy theories that are not acceptable. When I spoke at the New Way a week ago Sunday, it was recorded. I finally got the recording, and the first 9 or 10 minutes of the recording, my entire introduction, is not in the recording. None of it. It starts about, as I said, 9 to 10 minutes into it. That's where it picked up the recording. That's the video, the only video that I've been able to access so far. I'm still trying to get the first part of it to connect and create the whole video. But out of a 30-minute talk, I have 21 minutes. Anyway, I wish to God that I could create unity consciousness the way I'd like to see it. But I don't know how. I don't know how. And it's hard for me to remain committed to anything where I feel like I'm not allowed to be me, where I feel like I have to cut off my arms or my legs in order to fit in and be accepted just as I am. That's a sacrifice I'm unwilling to make. I've done it to some degree throughout my life to try to make peace, to try to comply with what other people expected and wanted of me. I don't want to do that anymore. I'd rather, if I had to, be alone. Isn't that ironic? I'd rather be alone than to be shackled among those that I love. And that's how I felt last night. And those are the feelings that I'm still feeling and contemplating this morning. So I share this from my heart. This is my truth in this moment. I know it's not the whole picture, but it's my truth right this minute. It's where I am. And I'm willing to face the world and say, this is where I am. I'm not asking you to agree. I don't care if you like it or you don't like it. It's my experience. It's where my consciousness is focused right now. I'm not here to label it ego or whatever you want to choose to label it. I choose to accept people where they are, and I'd like the same reciprocated. And I'm willing to allow anyone to express their peace, as long as they do it without calling names. I just thought of this. When I did my magazine, Paradox, for 5 years, I invited and allowed people to express other points of view than those that I was expressing. And there was one particular individual who had some pretty contrary ideas to mine. And I sometimes devoted several pages of the magazine to his ideas and the differences of opinion that we held, each expressing our thing. And until he got into name calling, I allowed him to say whatever he wanted to say. Once he got into the name calling, it was over for me. I didn't want it to degenerate into that. I love you all. Thank you for listening to me. Namaste.